Welcome back to the LCS Challengers. I am Mazel, joined by Magical and Joshi after our first foray into our second series of the day. Immortals, progressive challengers actually come away with a huge win over Fear. But we got a little bit of time to kill. We got a little bit of fun to have. And I know we're getting halfway through the day, so I got to make sure that you two gentlemen are on the same page still. Your synergies are firing. Your synapses are firing. Everything's working out. All right, maybe give you a little bit of energy. So I've got a word association game that this time around I'm calling NA plus CL.
Wait, hold on. I need to make sure Josh is on the same page. Are you on page 124 as well?
That's the wrong page, man. You're on the wrong.
Oh, shoot.
Come on. Get with the program. Come on. So with this one, it is going to be me choosing something, which at this point it's player names.
Sodium or chloride?
What was that?
Sodium or chloride?
Yes. No, that's not it. It's just a play on words, Joshi, okay? It's a play on words. So I've chosen a player's name, and I want you guys to say the first thing that comes to mind. First thing. And hopefully you guys' synergy is on point, and you say the same thing, right?
Okay.
And we can move on. If you don't, then we're going to take those two words, you're going to tie them together, and you're going to try to have to say the first thing that comes to your mind that ties those two words together. Okay. And if you guys can finally get on the same page, then we'll get to move on, and we'll get to go have ourselves a second game of the series. Sounds good, guys?
Poorly on Saturday, so we'll see how it goes.
So wait. If we fail, we don't get to watch the second game.
Did you play it with Kangas on Saturday?
No, it was because we had like a 50-minute pause on an AoE game.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We weren't there today, but it was close. So first player I have here, and remember, first word that comes to mind when you hear this guy's name. Perry. What is the first thing that comes to mind when you say Perry? Now you can go in 3, 2, 1.
Platypus.
What did Joshi say?
Kung Fu.
Platypus and Kung Fu. Okay. Let me write those down. Let's make sure. So start thinking what ties platypuses and Kung Fu together. You got 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
Agent P.
Schmertz?
Oh, we were close. We were close.
Wait, what did you say? HP?
I said Agent P. Agent P.
I don't know what Agent P. So I'm gonna be honest.
Perry the Platypus. That's his name. That's like when he puts on the hat. He's Agent P.
He's just really going into the platypus.
I fully believe you, but I think we're going in a direction that's not.
No, not at all. Not one bit.
I don't think you got. What was your word, by the way?
It's
Joshi?
It's the guy that's in all the Perry the Platypus memes. Yeah. Like, oh, it's a platypus. Oh, it's Perry the Platypus.
Okay.
It's that guy, but like.
Then you guys have another opportunity here.
Yeah,
How do you tie those two together and make sure it's about Perry, the player that we just watched?
Perry, the player, not the
But you have to like try to
Okay.
circle it back. You have to try to circle it back.
All right. Okay. Hold
3,
on. Hold
2,
on. I need to think.
Oh,
Hold on. Give us a sec.
fine.
Give us a sec. All right.
Okay, I'm ready.
Checking my watch. All right.
I'm ready.
What you got? Let's go.
Are you gonna count us in?
No, just go.
Oh,
Hero.
God, I was gonna go with calm.
Calm?
Calm?
Like
Okay.
Interesting. Okay, so
I said
calm
hero.
Calm hero. Well, this feels like we're getting back towards trying to make our way to Perry.
Closer.
So calm
ready.
hero. How do you tie those two together?
I got it. I'm ready.
Ready? Magical?
Yep.
Sure.
3, 2, 1.
Improved.
What did you say, Joshi?
I said monk.
Monk and oh my gosh.
Okay, monk is not like tying it back to Perry.
It's a calm hero, and they do kung fu just like Perry does.
He's got you there, Magical. I don't know what to tell you.
He does.
All right, monk and improve.
Because like scouting grounds, he was calm and he was a hero then, you know.
Yeah,
all right, monk and improve. You got a little bit of time here.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, Magical, what you got? You ready?
Yeah, sure, why not?
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Perry.
Raining. Did you just say his name?
Yes.
You just say his name.
I don't know what else. I have no idea. We're so off the rails on this one. I have no idea.
It's all falling apart here. The duo is not holding it together. All right, you guys, let's just move on. We'll move on to the next name. Next name, all right?
Dang. Sorry, Perry.
Perry was a failure.
Yeah.
Perry is not a failure.
Yeah,
Perry is not a failure, but the word association part did not go well.
See, it's when you made us tie it back that it got difficult because we could have easily done Phineas and Ferb with
the problem is,
and Doofenshmirtz.
I'm a real magical. I only know things that I have seen on Instagram Reels and TikTok about that show.
See, and there's the problem. I don't use either of those.
Perfect. All right, we're going to move on to the second player name. Maybe you guys can get back on the rails. I don't know, the train's like off in the distance at this point.
Okay.
It is Chad. Give me a couple seconds.
Ready.
I got it.
Are you ready? All right, first word that comes to mind when we think of Chad.
Jungle.
Oh, I was going to go with monkey because monkey style.
Jungle
The whole thing that
and
you
monkey.
made.
All right.
The whole thing you made,
We're starting
Josh.
really great. We're starting real good.
No.
All right.
We have
this
this.
is
We have
easy.
this.
This
We
is
have this. We
easy.
have this. We have
I
this.
believe in you guys.
Yeah.
All right, so jungle and monkey. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Wukong. Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
There we go.
Synergy's back on the rails.
There we go. There we go.
All right.
Yeah.
We got more. Don't worry. What did
Chad
you say, Joe?
Jungle. That was his name for a long time,
Wow.
and then he's also a jungler. And then, like,
You also
Wukong
made the
was
wild
by
monkey
far
style.
his most played last play.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's easy.
Easy.
I was going monkey style because that's the whole
Synergy
graphic
saved.
you set up, you know. Then Wukong, yeah. It's easy.
All right. Next one we got is Balulu, the newest addition to the squad.
Okay.
So, what is it that you think of when you think of Balulu? Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
You guys ready?
I'm afraid what Josh is going to say.
3, 2, 1.
Vel'Koz.
What did you say, Josh?
Zoe.
No, Vel'Koz. That's what he's known for.
But he absolutely dunked on APA with Zoe.
Yeah, but
I
that's
feel
not
like
what
this is pretty easy
He's also
from here
known
on
for.
out, though.
He's also known for Zoe.
Okay.
I feel like this is pretty easy.
When he
from
wasn't
here on
able to
out,
play
guys.
Azir, when he was in Turkey, he was playing Zoe.
Okay, Josh, what do they both have in common?
Vel'Koz and Zoe, you guys got to tie it together. Same pit. You were doing really good. You were doing really good on Chad. Can you continue? All right. What are you guys ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
Skill shots.
What they have in common is like there's a lot of things that they kind of have in common.
I can't go like full on like.
Okay. Mid and skill shots.
Mid and skills. You guys,
Okay.
are you promising me there's gonna be something
I think
positive here?
we can do this. I think we can
All
do
right.
Skill
this.
shots.
all right.
Can we?
I'm putting you on a timer.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. First thing that comes to
Zareth.
mind. What
You
was
did
it?
not give me any time to think at all.
That's the perfect part. It's magical.
Yeah.
Say the first thing that comes to mind.
Huh.
Mid and
Now,
skill shots.
It's Zareth now because you already said it.
Well,
You
that's
literally
not
gave me no
possible.
time
No,
to think.
no.
You gave me no time to think.
You're a caster. You better be able to think faster than that. Come on, magical.
I wanted to drink
Come
my
on, bro.
tea when you said that, and then
Come
you're
on,
like,
bro.
no, you can't even drink your tea that you have
no,
right
because
here.
you're in the middle of a halftime bit.
Even better time to drink
Man.
tea.
Is it? All right, we got one more. All
right, last one.
We're gonna try to give you one last one to make up for it.
Okay.
IMT
That was not great.
Challengers versus Fear Game 1. That's your premise.
Game 1.
Yep, that's your premise. So, what is it? The first thing that comes to mind when you think of the
Okay.
first game of the series?
Okay. Let's see
Ready.
if I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Chad.
ADD.
He said ADD. I said Chad.
Well then,
What is between them? What is between them?
that's a great question. Are
Yeah.
you guys ready? ADD and Chad. 3,
Okay.
2, 1, go.
Bash Bros.
What? Bash Bros. I
Yeah.
said dives.
Ah, god damn
Yeah,
it.
so we're kind of
gosh.
close. We're kind
No.
of
All right,
close.
Bash Bros.
All right. Okay.
and
What happened with
dives.
both
All right.
of those things when they came together?
Then they came together. We'll see if you got them. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Killing
Kills.
Jace.
Okay, killing
That
James.
was
That's
pretty
close
close.
enough.
That's pretty
Yeah,
close.
That's
Close enough. We're gonna.
We had the same first syllable.
Yeah.
You
We're
know.
gonna let it go. Yep. All right. Cool. You guys ended up doing positives. All right. So yeah, you're on the same track somewhat. I think one of you is like on right next to it. I don't know how trains work. I feel like I should.
Trains
One of us-
work
it's
by
like-
they're
it's
on
like-
rails. That's it.
But
one
you
of
were
us is
off the
looking
rails.
through the
Then how
mirror.
does the train get back on the rails? Like,
Oh, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, that's the thing.
so you got, but
You
you
get
guys
a new train.
get
yeah.
a new train. You guys went with a new
Yeah.
train. Oh my
Just like
you
what we
have
need to
to.
see from Cincinnati Fury, because that train did not work.
Hey.
Segway.
Segway.
Perfect.
Let's
That's
go.
so perfect because we are getting ready for the second game of the series. It's going to be Immortals Challengers versus Fear. Get to it, guys.
All right, that we shall. That was really good, Josh. I do got to give you credit on that one. I like that one. But now we're getting into game 2 of our second series. We have Cincinnati Fear this time on the blue side. And it makes me curious to see what kind of bans are going to change, because right there, the Yuumi first ban, Joey has been playing a ton of it, but I am so glad to see teams actually ban that from him, because I just don't want to see Joey play it.
I don't want to see anybody play it. Luckily, it's 13.2, I think, where it actually gets all the nerf bats. So, we won't have to worry about it for too much longer. Hopefully, the meta will shift up on the next patch, but so far, nothing particularly exciting.
Josh, you know how we can shift up the patch, right?
What's up?
Everyone just listens to me.
Oh, yeah, that will work. But I don't know if it will make for very good League of Legends.
It'll make for great League of Legends. What do you mean? The content would be gold.
Well, for now, we will get to see it as per usual until we see something a little bit more exciting, and we will have an opportunity to kind of pick things back together. This was one of the most common bans coming out from IMT, just because Joey wants, if I can't have it, no one can. But for Immortals, they just absolutely dominated last game, and so much of it was off the back of one, Chad having a great opportunity to support ADD, 2, ADD just winning his lane, and 3, the bottom lane, Wixie and Joey were just never pressured by Manui and Trevor. Chad came down once to kind of make sure that Perry didn't gank him, and after that, Perry never really found his footing in the rest of the game, and that's going to be something that they will need to find a little bit more opportunity to create engage tools, and they've done it already with the Ashe pick.
I do like this Ashe pick too, because this is something not only Trevor has played very well so far in a lot of the wins Cincinnati Fear have gotten, but this is also a great pick for Manui. A lot of times when we've seen him back in like the amateur circuit when he was on, he wasn't on Evil Genius Prodigy, was he? I forget what team he was on. I'm trying to remember what team he's off the top of my head.
I'm so bad at remembering what teams people were on in
Exactly. That's like, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I can use my other monitor to figure that out really quickly, and I have it in my notes somewhere, but I forget. But it's something that they can easily flex.
Wildcard
and yeah. Okay. And they can try to switch up a lot. But, I would have really liked the Poppy pick for Perry, just because it denies Chad a lot. However, Vi is a very strong jungler at the moment. Standard jungles. We got Chad on the monkey, so that one bit of synergy we do have comes through in this time. I do want to kind of highlight that. But I'm curious to see what we get to round out the bot lane, if Cincinnati Fear even want to do so. Maybe they want to hold on to that flexibility of Ashe until the bitter end.
Yeah, I mean, it is... Whoa. Blinding the Xerath? That is...
Xerath, you mean Kassadin?
Yeah, blinding the Kassadin. That is a crazy thing for Shochi to be doing right now up to Balulu. Yes, Balulu is known for playing a lot of the artillery mages, which Kassadin is good into, but Balulu also just showed us that they are willing to play the Silas blind, and so this Kassadin will be scaling a ton into the game, but you're also giving up all priority in the mid lane. You will have no control there, and Wukong plus Silas is an incredible pair of diving champions. Cincinnati Fear is throwing a gauntlet, and Balulu ready to pick it up immediately.
The one thing, though, this is Shochi playing Kassadin. We've seen him play it blind before and absolutely crush on it. This is a champion that wasn't picked before and actually got banned in the first rotations by IMTC, knowing that Shochi is willing to pick it in the first rotations before the next set of bans. That it is going to be Balulu trying to answer that the best he can, especially during the lane phase.
Yeah.
Do a double melee, but we got to look at where everything else is going to shift. Top lane, taking away Camille from Faisal, and I'm curious to see if we have that Olaf ban as the final one from IMTC again.
Would not be surprised. It has been something that Faisal has been tearing up the game on, and so IMT, they need to find ways to accelerate the game on the first and second item before Shochi is actually able to hit level 16, because it is not the first time, like you said, that this Kassadin has been played by Shochi or in general. We also saw a fantastic game of it from Doxa this weekend on playing with TSM Challengers, and so it's a situation where as long as you are able to support it or create enough threat elsewhere on the map, Shochi will be able to move around between different lanes and farm his way up into becoming absolutely monstrous. But this front line, there are so many threats that Cincinnati are going to have to deal with, and ADD really beat up on Faisal last game with the Renekton into Jays. Now they're going to be blinding the Jax, and Faisal, I mean, typically the answer to this champion for him has been the Olaf. Cassante is not a bad one, but it is definitely much more of a skill matchup, whereas Olaf just kind of wins it outright.
Plus, I feel like the Jax is kind of like one of those third ban situations where Faisal is more than confident playing the reverse matchup the Jax into K'Sante. Now he is put into the position he's got to play into Jax as opposed to what he normally want. And that's why I feel like ADD, it's a good pick for him to try to contest against Faisal again in this lane phase and maybe look to bully him a little bit more early on.
Yeah. So, it's going to be a lot of pressure on Perry once again to try and create some space for his team, and Chad was able to block a lot of the plays that Perry wanted to go for early last game. So this time, it is going to be an opportunity for Cincinnati Fear to have very obvious places to play around. You have these double melee champions up on the top side. You want to try and put ADD behind and delay all the split push pressure, all of the powerful things that this Jax can do, and put it on the back foot as Tom Kench actually going to be coming through.
We haven't seen him in a while. I think we've seen him a couple times here and there in like the LEC, LPL, LCK, but not nearly to the point when, you know, he dominated the meta and everyone looked to him as the premier support. Looking up this bot lane, that's a lot of poke on the other side that he's going to have to absorb.
Yeah, it's an interesting pick going to be coming through from Joey. The biggest reason why I see this coming through is, again, another counter pick to the Vi, right? Just as we were looking at with the Sivir, with the Spell Shield, now Joey can use the ultimate and trade it out and allow Wixie or anybody else to reposition during the fight and effectively ignore the ultimate that Perry is going to be throwing out. However, there's a lot of problems still on the rest of the team, and I'm not convinced that Tom Kench is going to be dealing with them. However, the one thing that you actually are able to do is you have this huge opportunity to create engages with this Tom Kench later on, especially if you're in Fog of War, because the little circle that you're jumping into doesn't become visible to the other team right away.
And with how they've drafted this time around, I still am looking at a lot of close range from both teams. They have to fight right in the thick of everything. And guess what, Josh? They're all grouped up again, except they're not going down the same lane. I'm curious to see if these ships will crash into one another sailing the high seas.
Doesn't look like it, but there we go. Another tweet coming out from Immortals, making it look easy. And remember, use hashtag NACL if you want to get your own tweets on the broadcast as well, and say hello to Mom and anybody else who's going to be watching. But Cincinnati, they dropped a game today against IMT. I don't think that was something that was part of their plan on their road to dominance, and as they start coming back into this one, remember, a big part of it has been the fact that Faisal now, with his second counter pick into ADD, is going to need to now win this skill matchup where they kind of got bopped in the last soft counter pick.
But at the moment, not gonna see anything for some time. I'm really still looking at these junglers as being the big factors of how each lane is going to go. Unless Sochi just base checks right there and takes a lot of damage from Balulu, he's able to trade it back efficiently at least.
Yeah, I mean, big auto attack coming through. That
Okay, they're on top of him. They're gonna go for the counter strike. They're on top of Perry, still forcing his flash early. Faisal as well gonna have to retreat back towards his lane. This gives Chad blue buff.
Okay, that's something that we were seeing being massive earlier on in today, right? The ability to force your opponent to move and place it on the map that they are not wanting to go. But now, Wixie and Joey, they're giving ground a fair amount. They know that it's going to be forcing Perry to the bottom side of the map, and they are going to have to concede level 2 and possibly even more.
Expected, though, when you draft Tom Kench into double range, even if it's going to help out a lot later into the game, denying a lot of that CC crowd control that's going to come through from Cincinnati Fear, your lane phase is not going to be all too fun.
Yeah, ooh.
As you can see.
Yeah, very tough early on. Lots of low health lanes being played right now by IMT, and Chad committing to actually picking up this Gromp and the Wolves as well, taking the entire quadrant of the jungle. Does force Perry to kind of go for this vertical, which is very tough for Wixie and Joy to deal with in a lane that, as you were calling out, they're already getting poked out of.
And I don't expect that to be alleviated anytime soon unless Chad has his signature level 3 gank into the bot lane, but with how much focus he's put onto the top quadrant of the map, gonna be some time, just power farming, might even look to gank lane like mid lane or look to help out ADD in this top lane.
Yeah, but doesn't even look to be helping out the top lane right away. Nope. And interestingly enough, Perry opting to complete the recall. Even while Minui and Trevor are moving forward, they have the pressure to actually try and help out one of these invades. But Perry not necessarily moving with the rest of the team and doesn't have anything to actually farm on his own side of the map. Where does he go? That's a really big decision to commit to the recall there, as they're now just going to be going into the river. They're going to get spotted on their way.
Big burn of time for Perry, unfortunately. By the way, can we just give a shout out over to ADD? He's proxy farming already.
Yeah, that's a brutal one. It looks like ADD has definitely been stepping up as Perry's in the mid lane.
Lulu is definitely in danger. Dodges away from the Vault Breaker, but he's still low on health. Flashing. Here's the flash from Shochi. Chad looks to answer on to Perry. Gave him with his own flash to make sure they can secure a 1-for-1 trade.
But a kill going over to Kassadin really helps out. Joey going in.
Hey, they got the flash off of Manui in the bot lane as well. Joey has his flash available, plus the heal from Wixie if need be. The thick skin should be plenty fine as Shochi, Chad, they meet up. They've been hunting Shochi this entire time. He had to go the long way around, was trying to recall that it's a prolonged double kill for Chad with bot lane still looking for a bit of a skirmish. They're just fighting all over the map.
All over. And so the big question that we're going to have to ask is Shochi getting this kill enough of an acceleration for this casting to make up for the fact that Chad is now going to be massively impactful in the upcoming minutes, right? As soon as they hit one item, you become unkillable for a while with the Divine Sunder. And look at this, Balulu already starting to look towards the bottom side, knowing that Manui and Trevor are pushed up so far.
Yeah, it might as well, honestly, knowing that they're low on mana too. Even if Wix and Joey are in a difficult position, they were easily susceptible. No summoners left on Manui. He blew both of those trying to get the kill onto Joey previously. So they are far susceptible to either Balulu or Chad visiting that bot lane. And as you talked about with Chad having this lead, he's just going to translate that, the resets he saw in bot lane, to a free dragon.
Yeah, everybody backing away, pairing the other side. Chad will be able to grab this, and so at the same time, Balulu trying to create enough space in the mid lanes, doing a decent job denying farm away from Shochi, and with the lane pushing towards Balulu's side of the map, Shochi will be under threat for a little while, and now Fear at least know where he is.
Know briefly, but still quite some time until the Rift Herald is a valuable play they could look for. Instead, it's about Perry. Kind of like what we saw in the previous series, where Winnie got behind early, except he's not quite as far behind, and now Shochi, only level 5. He's a nice, easy target for Balulu to have some help kill.
I love the fact that they steal the one Rift Walk from Kassadin, and that's what they end up using to actually get the kill. Balulu does find that, and that is going to be putting Shochi pretty far behind, and so it looks like we have an early answer. It's not going to be enough of an acceleration immediately, because Balulu finds the counter kill right away, and look at all the experience that is going to be lost to Shochi. It looks like Perry will pick up some of it.
I mean, you have to have someone get it, and Perry, someone who wants to get back to this game as well. I was just trying to talk about it beforehand, where he's going to struggle into this game against Chad. He's got the same amount of experience, but the jungle clear is favoring Chad. He's got plenty more presence here on the map. I almost forgot the word. But it's just been IMT. Again, this game, their early game, is looking really solid.
Yeah. I mean, this is what IMT was known for last year, and again, it was back off of the player, Chad. He's so hard for a lot of these players to predict, and now we'll see what they can actually do with it. Faisal, potentially looking for an all-in.
Got a level lead. Has a bit of an advantage. ADD's got to be careful. He has flash, and he has his ult available if he needed to look for the fight. Now they're looking for the Akabon to Manui, who has no summoner still, so they have a lot of free damage, and one more crit. Boom! They got him with the 4th shot.
That's really big. The bottom lane now winning. They were never really that far behind in CS, and Chad potentially looking for a dive onto Trevor. Not going to be able to find it, but this bottom lane that was struggling to stay in with all of the HP that was getting taken off them by the double range, now finding the kill. They find the catch onto the AD carrying, also deny a wave of experience.
This is the difficult problem, too, when you have such an immobile bot lane. Even on the other side, Wixie, Joey can make a point that they're immobile. You have better front line to absorb a lot of that poke as the game continues in. And with more levels, it's a lot easier for Wixie to create distance against someone who's a pretty low-ranged ADC like Ashe is.
And up in the top side as well, ADD doing a pretty decent job. It was a little scary for a moment, but Faisal not able to actually turn that into the all-in that they were potentially looking for. And Immortals shifting their attention towards the top side, and Trevor here to meet them.
And look at where Chad is, though. Chad, he talked about in his interview how he's been able to read this guy so well. He's on the same side, but it is going to be a little too late. ADD is in a lot of trouble. Going for the counter-strike, looking for the double stun. He should die, while the rest of the team is now peeling, looking for the kill. Enchanted Crystal Arrow not going to connect onto anybody, but they could look for the knockup. They're going to split up the fight with the Cyclone onto Parry. No escape for the jungler, and Chad, he gets a killing spree off of him.
Lulu up here also has the ultimate from Vi as well. Not going to be able to find anything further. There's some free time in the mid lane for Shochi to farm. Ends up being a 1-for-1 kills are kills, but at least it pulls IMT off of the Rift Herald.
Well, I'm off for now, but it looks like some plate should fall to IMTC, but they're not actually looking for that. They're looking for kills. That was a long journey for Balulu, but he is more than happy taking the journey as they got the tongue lash, but not any kills. Faisal playing bodyguard with Parry now showing up. The Nidova strikes, forcing out Consume and trying to keep alive everyone. Chad, that's a fat shield as Parry looks to cut off the retreat, going over the wall momentarily. No. Instead, he decides to peel back and gain control over Rift Herald.
You know who the big winner is of that, Alex? It's been Shochi, able to recover all of the missing gold and experience off of the wave, while Balulu is spending all the time top lane. He is well within. He's ahead once again of where his opponent has been because of the plates.
It's going back in. ADD's just skirmishing at every single opportunity. Realizing he's a level down to Faisal could be dicey, but Joey nearby, even if he doesn't have his Devour up, he's plenty fine with denying this Rift Herald take for Fear.
They deny the Rift Herald again, but this is a huge comeback from Fear off of a play that IMT were not quite able to read. We were just talking about how Chad has been reading Parry, but doesn't read the gank towards the top side. They are there in time to trade kills, but that could have been a 3v3 fight victory. But Balulu also committing to the play, ends up giving up so much back, and we've seen what Cassins can actually do. We saw Doxa, as soon as he hit level 16, triple kill into triple kill, and now Fear, they're using that power that this Cassin suddenly has to actually start making play for the Rift Herald again.
But Trevor, he was the one taking a lot of the attention. Even if Parry is nearby and wants to get the Vault Breaker onto Balulu, it's difficult to actually kill him. Look at how much damage Parry took before actually even landing in that full fight. Now they can get Shochi, or can they? Because they got the arrow on the other side. That's going to be the stun coming in from ADD, getting a lot of damage. They got the shutdown needed for one, but they've got to be careful because Balulu has Trevor. He looks for Shochi. They've got the root that Trevor got on top of Balulu, so Shochi could look for the resets and gets himself his second kill, but he dodges away from the fourth crit that came in from Wixie.
Oh, so many people just die in that fight. We're already up to 12 kills in only 11 minutes, and now Wixie shoving in the mid lane. This is an incredibly bloody game, but I'm worried for IMTC, and I'm so excited for Fear because Shochi getting this blind Cassidon online, 3 kills into the scaling character, allowing them to start these fights and actually go even in them is a huge victory. And just as you called out, so much of it comes from the fact that Parry dies instantly. They use so many different buttons, and as all the different flanking elements join, Minui gets here a little bit faster, and so they are able to trade some kills right back. But watch how Shochi moves from target to target. He jumps over, finds that kill on the first side, and then waiting. He just is looking for Balulu because he knows nobody can actually get on top of him. Flashes out of this one in order to make sure that there is nothing further to be done.
That was a beautiful play from Shochi. Even if he only gets 2 kills, like you said, it's enough for Cassidon. He's completed his Rod of Ages after that fight, making him that less likely to actually die once you jump on top of him. You have to pour so much attention onto Shochi. Even if he's only level 8, he hasn't even hit that spike of level 11 where he feels even more powerful.
Yeah, I mean, Cassidon right now is chilling. Right, being chilling. He's not worried about what's happening in this game. Yeah, the parry is a little bit weak. Yeah, the bottom lane could have gone better than it did. Shochi is now in a position where he can start looking at the rest of the team and say, I can tangle with any of these guys. I can jump on top of Wixie. I can slowly grind out Balulu, Chad, and ADD. And the alpha strike that I have of just using the Riftwalk to build up and just a ton of damage to all these melee characters means that they have to be playing around me. I am going to be the one who dictates the pace of this game. I can control a side lane. Maybe ADD can deal with it for a little while, but they will not be able to pick their fights later in the game. So Shochi, one of our youngest players coming into this game, and is now in total control.
Showing why you have to ban the Castle win against him. In just this one performance, we saw it last time, and now Chad, He's threatened with a good time as he gets a lot of damage. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Parry, he's alive and out of there. The charge will come through with the TP as well from ADD, but Parry having survived it all, they take the kill and all those plates.
Yeah, I mean, threatening him with a good time this time is too much for him. He's not ready for this level of party. They end up picking it up. The Reptile does crash, and more plates, as you said, going over. At least Wixie's going to be picking up some plates on the bottom side as well. But the fact that this gold lead is now effectively nothing, there is going to be in a fantastic position. They are dictating when plays are happening, and when it's happening this early with their composition, it's a bad sign.
Well, and it's still more gold for Shochi, right? He gets the kill credit from that dive, and they get Parry out of there alive. Everything is looking up for Cincinnati Fear after the early game was again dominated by Immortals Challengers.
Oh, here we go, Manui.
Manui, I don't think he's getting out of this one. There's not really much he can do. He has no flash, no heal. It's a done deal.
Another kill goes over to Balulu. But something we haven't really talked about is the fact that Shochi has been this player that's also been in the Immortals ecosystem in the past, right? Yes, Balulu has had some great performances over in Europe and Turkey, but Shochi was part of the Immortals AoE program last year. He was also briefly playing for Immortals Academy as a substitute, and it feels like this is kind of a statement game going up against this roster and saying, I can blind Kassadin into your new mid laner. I can blind this champion that's supposed to not be able to play early on in the game into one of these strong imports that people were looking at to maybe play at the next level, and I'm beating him.
Hey, I'll give Balulu some credit. It wasn't like Shochi had a free lane. He did have that point where we were like, okay, how does Kassadin get back into this game? What does he do? Well, Shochi just plays out of his mind. That's how. Dodging away from all danger so he can get himself these kills.
Yeah. I mean, well, we were priding Immortals on their ability to play all of these early games. They tend to find leads, right? That is one of the things that have been giving them some of the victories that they have had, is they just tend to win their lanes quite a bit. So when that's not enough, when Shochi is not that worried, starts being so much more of a threat.
Okay, well, we have now got an answer, at least at this point in the game. Kassadin does not want to fight against Jax.
Not yet, not yet. It'll take a little bit more time, but the fact that it's already a question that we have to start asking is a danger. We're not supposed to be asking this question for at least 10 more minutes, right?
Yeah, that is fair. At least that's what you would ideally want if you're IMTC, and now, in fact, they have to contend with that question. They have to worry about Shochi, who just ticked level 11 with his Seraph's Embrace completed on that recall.
2 items.
2 items well above anyone else on the other side. And even if Nui is very susceptible to getting dove, that's not the person you need to kill anymore. You have to shut down Shochi.
With all the threat being put onto Shochi, I mean, it allows Manui to be that much more effective in these upcoming team fights, right? It's not the highest damage character, but you will still be doing a lot of damage. You do have a lot of safety from everybody else because they're not going to be looking at you. So with the next dragon spawning in 20 seconds and 1 apiece, like, both teams can fight, but neither team is like, oh yes, this is the fight we need to take.
Well, there's an attempted skirmish by ADD over some chicken nuggets. Didn't actually get anything further.
Good flash.
Call open. Yeah, they're getting the flash out of Manui, which, again, means that this Ashe is more susceptible, but that's not the one you need to kill. I'll keep saying it. It's nice. It's a little bit of extra gold to remove someone on the map. But Manui at this point is pretty much going the support of Ashe build, where even if it's not the support of Ashe build, it's the identity.
Slayer.
But the identity is there, where all you're there for is throwing out arrows so Shochi can follow them up. And here, ADD getting ganked underneath this turret by 3 members. He's surviving for a long time, nearly took down Parry.
Got him.
Stolen ult by Balulu gets him, but Shochi is the one we got to look at. They got the kill onto ADD, the flash away from Balulu, with Manui having rotated into the top side of the map to make sure it's only the peer 1-for-1. Unfortunately for Fear, despite their attempts, they lose out on another dragon.
It's alright, I mean, it's a dragon's a dragon, but this dragon doesn't have that much impact on the rest of the game, as this dive could pick them up a turret.
Yeah, Balulu looking like he's in a bad spot, heals up a lot, but it's a clean dive.
And they pick it up relatively easily. Trevor loses the flash, but they do get the turret. Wixie and Joey are looking for revenge.
They're looking to chase him down. Heal and flash were there for Wixie, but he's got to be so careful. He can go from 100 to 0 instantly, even if Shochi is only level 12.
Yeah, big trades across the map overall. Top lane turret gets destroyed, bottom lane turret is down, and Dragon has picked up a couple of extra kills going into Fear's favor. Gold relatively even as Perry... Get him, boy!
At this point, Perry has now gotten himself in a better position to be able to fight against Chad, but he still has to be careful. It's a mythic compared to the Chain Punk. That's a lot more damage Chad provides, and the school, it's the University Challenge there as they got the kill for Chad.
It's the monkey style coming through. That's the fight that Perry was trying to go for, and unfortunately 0-4 turns to 0-5 as Chad bops him over the head. I think Perry thought he had ult for that fight. It's definitely one of those spots where you just go for it, and Chad is not going to let you get away with that kind of attack. He's going to say, you need to actually take me seriously. I'm going to just beat you up because you don't have any friends here.
Yeah, it also, like I said, it's the disparity of a mythic compared to a legendary. Chad was just going to win that fight, even if it looked like he was behind. There's a lot that he can throw out at the face. Perry's still working on getting back into this game, while IMTC had started up the Rift Herald. But unfortunately, they don't have that position properly set up. Chochi, Faisal were perfectly well and ready for these flanks. Even look at Chochi right now getting that damage on to Joey. He's getting so much attention. 4 members of IMTC have to focus on him. That's why Lulu got him to Rift Walk out of there. He's going to be able to sight secure this Rift Herald. It goes down. It's going to be picked up by ADD, but the arrow is going to connect onto Chad. Now they're bouncing him into the wall. ADD's got to be careful. He's low.
Caught.
And Shochi, he is caught, but Chad, he gets gobbled up, and Shochi throws it back at them. You can never underestimate Shochi on Kassadin.
Great stuff. Shochi with the stopwatch buys so much time at the right moment, and we said this was how we're going to allow Manui back into the game. Shochi's going to pull all of the aggro, and that means that Manui gets a free hit the entire time, and they take the fight in the perfect position where they also pick up the Baron. But watch Shochi. That's just where all the eyes need to be in this game, because he is trying to fight. He is trying to create space. He wants to do the damage, and while he's doing all this, taking 3 members of IMT on, Manui is free hitting all these melee champions on the other side of the fight, and Wixie, Balulu, and Joey don't get to participate because they're all worried about the Kassadin.
Exactly, and you just watch him constantly in and out of these fights, the stopwatch to make sure that he can get the resets again for his ability so he could dive back in. Of course, gotta give credit over to the rest of Fear. They all carried their weight in that fight to make sure that it would be a clean success for them, with everyone now having Baron buff on their heads.
Yeah, and it's the perfect time, right? They are now 4,000 gold in the lead. Fear clapping back right away. They just dropped a game to Immortals in the first half of our series. Now in the back half, we're still fighting for a draw, but fighting against draws against a lot of these challenger teams is still a big win. I think Fear, our expectations at the beginning of the season were that this was not going to be one of the 2 teams that we were expecting to be able to challenge towards the top of the table from the provisional side. But Fear is now doing it as they are poised to improve to 7-3.
A lot of that. We got to keep talking about Shochi in this game, right?
Yeah.
We now understand. We've seen it before in Challengers League already, but this Kassadin of his is insanely talented. Like, he is so good on playing this champion and the mechanics. He's got the 10 stacks on that Rod of Ages. He's even got the book. 10 chapters built up on Magi's. And yeah, you can be like, oh, he's on a 5-2, whatever. But still, like you said, we're all on the same page. We all are on the same chapter, and that is Shochi Care.
Yeah. And it's kind of fascinating, too, to watch that Shochi was a player that was knocked out at Proving Grounds in 2022 relatively early on, right? Only placing 13th on Taco Gaming. To have this much early success. And it was a team that also had a bunch of players also get promoted or who have had opportunities to play at this level.
No, Shochi, it looks like he's got out, but he's able to Rift Walk out of there.
Nui.
Got a bit of damage. Nui trying to body block Shochi the best he can. Third shot hitting Trevor. They will pull the trigger, not going to land the 4th onto anybody. But Fear are still defending around this dragon. Even if it's not the most vital thing in the world, could set up a potential for soul point out of IMTC.
They haven't gotten a lot with their Baron buff. Despite the fact that they got it early on, it's mostly just been an influx of gold as Shochi finds Chad.
And he gets a lot of damage onto him. Chad waiting for the decoy. will dodge away, but it's still the flash that he has to use. And guess what? It's Kassadin. You can't escape him. He's got Rift Walk. And now everyone else is in danger. But Lulu, he stole away his own Rift Walk, but it's just the flash from Shochi, so he can follow it up. He denies him escaping too. That's a double kill they pick up there, while the rest of the team starts barreling down mid.
Yeah, you made the mistake of being on the same screen as Shochi. That's not allowed when you're by yourself. You're going to be picking up the inhibitor, and even though it's not with the Baron, they're able to get the base open, and suddenly the split push is going to be absolutely ridiculous from them. Shochi unmatchable in the side lane, so close to level 16. Faisal as well, going to be so difficult for them to actually deal with. And as they pick up this turret up in the top side, that's another 2 kills effectively going over to the Kassadin.
Even more gold. He's got 3 items. He's working on his 4th.
Oh, ADD.
But ADD, you look like a bad position. Wow, it's only 24 minutes into the game, so Rift Herald still was there from ADD from that one fight.
Yeah, he gets the crash, but it doesn't pick up the turret either. Maybe there's objective bounties. That is a potential lot of gold for them to come back to. But Shochi, I mean, he just runs them down, right? Like, there's not a whole lot for them to do. And my favorite part of this, actually, is the fact that Shochi is, like, so much feeling himself that he's like, oh, I'm going to Rift Walk over this wall trying to catch Balulu, but Balulu hadn't gone over yet. In fact, he was interrupted, and it doesn't matter, but it's very funny to me watching Shochi be like, yeah, I am so good, I'm going to beat up on Balulu, and then he gets the prediction, and it doesn't even matter.
And here it looks like Chad getting picked off again. Every bit of CC layered at him. That's why Devour from Joey might save his life, but Shochi could dive if he wanted to. That fat shield does dissuade him. But it's level 16. The Doomsday Clock has struck 0, Josh. This is where it is all Shochi's game.
As the turrets continue to fall, Gyarados need to be a little bit careful. There's still a situation where IMT are probably 2.5 really big fights away from being back in a position where they can try and contest the game. But every time that Balulu picks up one of these side lane turrets, watching this bottom lane turret go down potentially to ADD in the near future could be opportunities for them to end the game, because as long as it's just inhibitor turrets, a single good fight can turn into a dead Nexus. So Fear need to be a little bit careful that they're not giving up these side lanes.
Especially against both Balulu and ADD, who are going to be excellent in those side lanes. Out of Wit 10 built up by ADD on Janks just to try to survive the initial onslaught that Shochi has, as he has 4 items completed.
Yeah, 4 items, and then I was looking at ADD, it's like, oh, that's 2.
That's
you look
2.
at Balulu,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, that is
That's
it's 2.5. You know,
Uh-huh.
to be generous, but that's not 4 items. That's not a Bramble Vest that Shochi is building up, just because he's not worried about anything else. It's just the auto attacks coming out from Chad and ADD, the little bit of extra armor. I'm a bit surprised it's not a Warden's Mail building towards a Frozen Heart, which is a common item, but at this point you can't really criticize him for anything, because he's in charge of the game.
Yeah, I was about to say, he can build whatever he wants. He wants to build an Infinity Edge. Let him.
Oh.
Just let him have it. This is the one thing that Immortals does have still left, are the split pushes. It takes a little bit of time for them to get that Baron, which gave enough time for ADD to at least get another turret in the bot lane, but he can't actually do any real damage to the inhibitor turret that he needed to.
Yeah. But that's the thing, right? If Immortals get a miracle victory now with the double TPs, they can teleport two people down there, and that could be enough to end the game, but they got to get the fight first.
Rift Walk, it's on a 1.5 second cooldown now, so Shochi, you could be 2 screens away, 3, and Shochi still will find you.
And they start pushing up in the top side. They still have the Baron for 2.5 minutes. Faisal preventing anything from happening in the bottom side of the map, and it's mostly just lining up to fight, because Immortals team comp is one thing and one thing only. They jump into you, and Shochi's like, yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what I want, as long as they aren't outnumbered.
Right there, getting a bit of a trade onto Wixie. Trying to force out a fight as we go into the mid lane. Nui and Perry both getting attention of 2 important members of IMTC, leaving Wixie in a bad spot. That's why he has to get devoured. Had he not been devoured, that would have been 25% health remaining on Wixie.
Still, though, it's just that kind of threat that they have. Wixie is just like, oh man.
He's level
now,
17.
yeah, but now it's a situation where it's not there for the actual fight. That such a feels bad.
Shochi continues to move around, looks for Balulu, says, all right. Oh, no, I don't think you wanted that. I'm just going to duck. But that is going to be cease and desist. And they got the kill for Shochi. Unless you lock down Shochi, there is no fight. There is no hope. It is all Cincinnati fear.
You better be fearing these guys. They are ready to go. They're ready to rumble. The blind gas and coming out 9, 2, and 8 for Shochi now as they turn this into a 1-1. Fear continues to be towards the top of the table, taking down another challenger team, and you guys need to be ready for what this team has left for the rest of the season.
And you can't even say strength of schedule, all this stuff. The fact they're beating challenger teams, it is a great showing for this provisional roster, especially for some of these highlight rookie players such as Faisal, and in this showcase, Shochi.
Yeah, and it's been impressive to see that they can play through multiple different members, but the confidence, again, to blind cast in the first half against one of the more hyped import mid laners of Balulu speaks volumes, I think, to how well this team is poised to improve and how much confidence they have. This team is the kind of thing, you do not do that if you are afraid of your opponents. You only do that if you are ready to brawl with them, and that's exactly what I like seeing from Provisional.
And that will end this series at 1 apiece. In fact, I think we've had almost every, at least there, I know the first series on the other stream was 1-1. I don't know about the second one, but here we've had 1-1s. We could have an all-tie day at 1 apiece. We'll see. But for now, we're going to toss it to a break. And when we come back, we'll have Mazzella here for a lovely interview with the victorious Cincinnati Fear. So make sure you stick around.
Welcome back to the Verizon post-game interview. I'm Mazzell, and I'm joined by the Cincinnati Fear, putting the fear in everybody in an ACL. I've got Perry, my man. You told me in week 1 you were focusing on aggression. You were focusing on carrying. I've seen a little bit of both. I've seen a little bit of all of it from you so far. You got any explanation on that?
I think I'm trying to be aggressive. I'm trying to keep the carry mindset. I think right now the meta is not necessarily carry through jungle, but there's a lot of cool things you can do through jungle, so just trying to stay true to that.
So when does the switch flip then? Because you changed it up going in game 2 and it worked out for you guys. So when do you have kind of a conversation going into stabilization draft or anything like that in a series like you did against IMT?
I think we all realized that the first game we're not playing how we normally play. We were not drafting how we normally draft either. Like, we kind of just did something completely random. So we were all like, guys, like, we need to wake up. Like, this is not something we practice. Yeah. So we woke up, and then going into game 2, there were some rough starts, but towards the middle of the game, like, we finally got our team functioning, and it went good. So
I love to see you at the forefront of that function. It feels like for Fear, and we got to talk to Chad a little bit, or hear from Chad a little bit about you and about all the situation going into this one for Chad. But I would love to hear some words from you about Chad, because I know you guys have some background.
Yeah, so in 2021 Scouting Grounds, he was always there with me. He also attended Scouting Grounds, but he was coaching me a lot, and he helped me a lot. He actually kind of helped me win Scouting Grounds in a way. But this is probably one of the hardest teams for us to face entirely, because me and Minui, they are my ADC, we're good friends with Max, but at the same time, like, he's really good at BMing us. Like, he's really good at kind of getting in our heads. So he was definitely in our heads a little bit in the series. So in itself, like, I'm glad we at least took a game off them, and I got to show that I could compete against him. So
he did highlight his Rengar and your Kane. I think it would have been great if we got to see that maybe sometime in the playoffs or something. But
one day.
Yeah, exactly. Now I do want to ask you though, because from week 1 to week 2, obviously a lot of growing pains and things going through week 1, but you guys still showed out. Was there anything big that you took away from week 1 to come into week 2?
I think without like putting off academy teams, I think we realized that they are very good, and we are definitely still not there yet. But we are definitely able to take games off them and compete against them. Like, the skill level is all very close, and we're seeing a lot of other NACL teams taking off, amateur teams taking off games from academy teams. Like, that's something that we all kind of realize, and we're all on the same page now about learning, mental, like, we're forming more as a team now, so it feels a lot better.
Well, and I want to go into that, because another thing that we talked about in week 1 was you guys were really working on just committing to plays as a team. Does that represented in that wacky draft you guys had, but as a whole, are you guys still working through that, still trying to find ways to kind of adapt that?
Yeah, I mean, no matter what we're doing, like we're almost always on the same page in terms of trying to work together, trying to play as a team, trying to like make plans. Like we'll have disputes and argue, but we'll always try and get on the same page with each other. So with a draft like that, like we're still kind of on the same page. We kind of all messed it up. So yeah.
I like it. Well, you guys are all together. What has been your favorite thing about being with the team, and kind of the thing that has kept you guys motivated as a squad?
I mean, living together with a team makes communicating a lot easier because we can do it in person. And I'm just glad like we're able to overcome these rough spots by talking to each other, and it's not through a Discord call, so they're not like doing something completely random while we're trying to have like
playing TFT. Or,
yeah, doing something. So like we're actually here having like face-to-face talks about our problems with ourselves or our teammates, like anything. So I think that's like the most amazing thing about living together as in a team. So
that makes me so happy to hear, man. Well, I do want to get any forethoughts on some junglers that you might be facing up in. Is there anybody that you haven't faced yet that you're got on your radar that you have maybe some crosshairs over?
I mean, it's a classic. It's just Shaden and Tomio. They're still here, of course. I'm gonna enjoy playing against them. I think a big one for me though is Yukino Cat. I wanna see what he's about in an actual match. I wanna see the hype around him, and I wanna play against him. So yeah.
Man, I appreciate your interviews as always, Perry. I want to give you a chance to give any shout-outs. Anybody you want to talk about here before I let you go?
Again, I just want to shout out our performance coach. He's doing an amazing job, Cade. He's always there getting us to go to the gym, do things healthy for ourselves. So it's been a huge lifestyle change. My girlfriend, my family, my mom, she's texting me during my games, out of game, all the time. Really appreciate that. My family, my friends, and all the people who are supporting, and most importantly, my team. Like, I'm so glad I'm here living together with my team. I'm really happy. So.
That makes me happy, Perry. Thank you so very much. We're going to bid adieu to Perry, the jungler for Cincinnati Fear. And while we do, we're going to get ourselves ready to go for the next time around. We have one more series to get through. It'll be Cloud9 Challengers versus FlyQuest. We'll be right back.